Hi, and welcome to week 2 of project-based learning in the Judaic Studies classroom. I'm Aaron Ross, your instructor for the course. I want to first thank all of you who have already logged in, started reading the material, started designing the very beginnings of your own PBL classroom unit. And I've enjoyed the comments. I've enjoyed responding to them and seeing how everyone's responding to each other, and I think that's really a wonderful aspect of this type of learning, where we can really get this online discussion and dialogue going from wherever we happen to be sitting. And I'm really looking forward to another week, really almost a week and a half, of sharing our thoughts and our insights and our learning together. So in week 1, the focus was really on kind of thinking about the end of a PBL unit, thinking about the driving questions. Where do we want the students to go? And what questions are we going to lay out that will help the students get there? And what our project would be, at least a loose envisioning of what the project should be, and who the audience would be for that project. Now we're going to go back to the beginning and figure out, okay, how are we going to help the students get there? And I saw it already starting to come up in some of the comments that people mentioned, which is, now if the goal here is for the students to do the learning more or less on their own, with us, with the teacher being one resource out of many, well, we have to provide them with those resources. And our focus this week is going to be on doing exactly that, on trying to figure out for the unit that each one of you has already selected and written driving questions for. So how are you going to then provide your students with resources that they can do on their own, or provide them with resources in a way that there will be help for them to do on their own? One of the big challenges in the Judaic Studies classroom is there is no Khan Academy. And even if there were a Khan Academy, if we're talking Hebrew texts, do the students have the skills on their own to be able to access those texts? And if they don't, so what do you want them to use? Do you want them to really break their teeth over the text? Are you happy with them using an English translation, whether it's an online translation or one that's in print? And of course, there are ups and downs of each translation. Not all of them are written for students, certainly not younger students. And even once they're accessible, do we care about the skill building? Will we say skill building is not a part of this particular unit? We'll do it another time. Or do we want our kids to break their teeth a little bit trying to get some of these skills? And that's part of what you will be thinking about as you start to design a collection of sources and materials for the students to use. At the same time, since students will be working on their own for a week, 2 weeks, a month, however long you would think the unit might be, you kind of have to have a way to stay on top of them. And the second part of what we're going to be doing this week is, how are you going to monitor student progress, gauge student progress? How are you going to get constant feedback from your students? And how are you going to assess it along the way? Are you going to be happy, assuming we work in a graded environment, or even if not, but you need to provide some feedback? Are you just going to wait until the unit is over? Or are you going to be giving constant feedback to the students, and how will you do that? And we will learn a little bit about rubrics, which may be familiar to all of us, but deploying rubrics in the interest and the service of PBL to help ensure that the students every step of the way are getting the guidance from you that they need. Remember, PBL is that transformation of the teacher from sage on the stage to guide on the side. But guide on the side is a very important and very labor-intensive job, because you really do have to keep up with all your students and their progress along the way. So I look forward to discussing this with you. The readings this week will be a little bit lighter than last week. The work will be a little bit more thoughtful, hopefully, and a little bit more intensive. So a little bit more on the designing the assignment than on the actual reading, so shifting the balance a little bit, and I look forward to seeing what everyone develops over the course of the second stage of the unit.